Hey everybody, welcome to Lawful Stupid's Whimsical Words, where wondrous worlds and writers collide. I'm your host, Devin Davenport. You know me, you love me. And on today's episode, our first of Whimsical Words, I am honored to have on the show Adriel. He is the author of the book Illyadra.
Hi.
And so we'll be talking through that book today about a lot of things, characters, plot, storyline, what inspired him to do that. But first, I want to do some things and say, Adriel, you can say hello.
Hi, I'm Adriel. Whimsical Words.
Thank you. That is the name. We just decided it seconds ago. That's the name of the show now. Adriel, we are going to get into some personal questions, but I wanted to start this off with some rapid fire questions just so we can kind of fill you out.
Yeah,
if that's
great.
okay.
Should I answer rapidly or should I expand on stuff?
No, I want you to answer rapidly.
Rapidly. All right, let's go.
Answering quickly, that's going to let me know your true heart's desire for these things. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. I think you may have gotten these, but may not, and they may change. The answers may change. But if you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. What's your favorite TV show?
Hands down, Lost.
Lost. Okay, great.
It's old, but I love it. It's so good.
My wife loves Lost. Favorite breakfast food?
Waffles. Definitely. Pancakes with abs.
Waffles, good choice. If you have to pick a vacation setting, where is it?
Tropical. Definitely tropical. The bigger the waves, the better.
Okay. Do you surf? That's another. This is not the rapid fire. I just want to know.
I don't like being responsible for objects. I kind of just like being fishy and like body surfing. But like,
okay.
I'll get up in them. I'll get up in the rough waves. Like I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. How often do you floss?
Literally never. Every time I go to the dentist, they're like, Noah, you gotta start flossing. And I'm like, sure, that's gonna have repercussions. Okay.
Are your teeth real? Another not question that was on there. Are your teeth real?
Yeah, they're real. I do have one crown actually, but yeah, they're real.
Okay, and just so for this is an audio medium, he has all the teeth in his mouth, so he's doing all right, despite no flossing. Favorite candy?
Reese's Pieces. Up until I found out that there's not actually chocolate in there. That's bothering me, but still love them. Love them.
That's a game show. That makes you question your childhood.
Yeah, it really does though. I always thought there was a little coating in there.
Well, maybe you can be the change the world needs to see. Favorite video game?
Black Ops 2 Zombies. I love the COD Zombies. I love them so much.
You're showing your age right now. I bet if people were to guess right now, hey, Discordians, I want you guys to guess how old Adriel is. We're not going to talk about it right now, but I want you to go guess right now how old he is. And I want to see that when you get this. Do you have your own Netflix account or do you use someone else's?
I have never in my entire life ever paid for Netflix. Never once.
But you do watch Netflix.
I do watch Netflix, yeah.
Have you watched the new Avatar?
Is it the Real People one?
The Real People one, indeed.
Is it
the
out?
live action?
Oh,
yes.
Wow. I did not know it was out. They did that whole IP.
We got to end this interview. Sorry, man. I thought you were...
Gotta go watch Avatar. They did that whole IP thing, and then like I gotta find out how to get around that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What's your favorite band ever?
This is gonna sound so soft, but Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
I don't know. I think I've heard of them. What kind of music is that?
It's kind of a little bit rock, a little bit pop, but it's kind of like funky. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of just like
funky pop rocks.
Yeah. I also like Jack Johnson a lot.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah, he's good.
And then, how tall are you?
5'11".
How tall do you tell people that you are?
5'11". I'm actually 5'10". 5'10" high side, yeah.
This podcast likes to bring out the truth in people. We're trying to get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm 5'11 and a half.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I make sure like this is half as important, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't just round up, go for the 6 feet.
Well, my license actually does say 6 feet, but I had to change it recently, so now it's 5'11 and a half.
Yeah, how often do you say like 6 feet?
I feel bad now when I tell people 6 feet. Because somebody who's 6 feet goes, nah, man, I know you're not 6 feet tall because I'm 6 feet tall. So I have to be careful with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool. All right, man. Well, that's all the questions I had for rapid fire. Thanks for taking the time to answer those. Good answers. So now we're going to jump into some more. We're going to learn about who is Adriel.
Yeah.
And so you already told us your name, but tell us about, where you live, what you do. Be as specific or broad as you want.
Yeah, Adriel. I go by Noah actually. But my first name is Adriel, and like I was telling you right before we started the interview, but I didn't know that Adriel was my first name until like first grade, and the teacher's like, "Hey, like, is Adriel here?" And I'm like, "What dumb kid has that name?" It's me. I'm him.
You were the dumb kid.
I'm the dumb kid. Yeah, it's such a weird name, but I like. As I've gotten older, I'm starting like enjoying it more and more, and I'm thinking like if I ever move again, I'm gonna just start fresh and go with Adriel. Yeah.
Where did that come from? Like, what was the motivation for Adriel?
Yeah.
From your parents?
I think it's like in 1 Samuel, the Bible, but my mom's pretty crazy,
really?
So it's kind of hard to believe that she ever picked that up.
Okay. I'm gonna fact find you as soon as we get out of here. That's just interesting. That's really cool.
It's so remote. Yeah. But yeah.
No one else has that. I've never heard that name before. But I know
me neither. Never heard it. Yeah.
All right. So what do you do for a living? Those kind of things. Just spill it. Give us the tea.
Let's go. I'm actually writing full time right now. But with the baby on the way, I'm looking at getting another job. Nothing super serious. Like, I'm gonna pursue the writing thing till I die, honestly. Like, even if I have to deliver pizzas to make it happen. Full send, this is what I'm doing, and I'm having a great time doing it. I'm living in Raleigh, North Carolina right now. Recently moved up here from Florida. I like the change. Definitely like Raleigh better. But I miss the beach like crazy. I so miss the beach. It's like, and everyone says like, it's only 2 hours away. But I'm used to it being like an afternoon after work, like pop over, pop back home. Now it's like you got to spend the whole Saturday getting out there, which is fine. I can't complain, but it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get living next to the beach. We lived in Savannah, Georgia. For a while. We lived at Wilmington Island. It's an event when you don't live close. Like you said, you have to take a whole afternoon to plan, prepare, pack, and go do it.
Yeah, you said Wilmington. That's pretty close. That's like the one that I go to.
Well, Wilmington Island
is that
in Georgia.
Okay, yeah. That is different. We have a Wilmington out here.
You get them mixed up.
Oh, and then sorry, real fast. One more thing about the beach. I just thought of it. Another crazy thing about North Carolina beach is like the entire state goes to the closest beach. Like right there, it's called Wilmington for us. Florida, the closest beach is everywhere. Like you've got the whole state surrounded the beach. So like traffic's crazy.
Now, what part of Florida did you live in and go to the beach at?
I grew up in Orlando area, so we went to New Smyrna all the time, and then I moved up to Jacksonville for college.
Great. Where'd you go to college?
I didn't go to college.
Oh, what'd you say? I thought you said for college.
I did, but I didn't.
Oh, you said you went to go, but you didn't go.
Didn't make it.
I didn't mishear you. We're both right. Okay. Cool, man. And so, it kind of leads me. You talked about, you're gonna write till you die.
Yeah.
When did you know that you wanted to be a writer?
Yeah, I never really wanted to be a writer. I had this idea for a book when I was like 11, and I thought that like because I had the idea that meant like I was obligated to write it. So here I am, and that's it. Yeah, I didn't even really like reading all that much when I was a kid. But then I like started getting into it, and I was like, I could do this. I could write a book, and I've been pursuing it like since then, since I was 11.
And how old are you now?
26. Oh, how'd the Discord do? Do you have it? Can you see it?
Well, right now, we'll find out after this thing releases. I'll let you know.
Love
it. Okay, cool. So around 11, and so that is the story, Illyadra. That's the story you're saying you had the idea for?
Yeah. It looked like way different back then. Like definitely, like it's grown up with me a lot. But yeah, I had this idea when I was 11, and I've been pursuing it since then.
That's great, man. I would say you didn't read a whole lot. You said, but are there any particular authors that you would say I really enjoyed their style of writing and maybe adapted some of that for your own at all?
Definitely. The first book I ever read was Harry Potter. I wanted to read Harry. Like I didn't like reading. Like I thought it was kind of cool to like Zach from Zach and Cody, like say like, ha ha ha, like I don't like reading. Like I thought it was cool. But then like Harry Potter was cool, so I was like, I want to read that. And then I just fell in love with it. Like since then, Aragon was so inspiring. Like Illyadra basically, like when I first started out, was like Avatar: The Last Airbender copy pasta, but like Aragon fantasy vibe style. Yeah.
Aragon is one I have not gotten into, but Harry Potter for me, same thing. I think it's probably the first taste of like fantasy, magic realm, that I stepped into that pushed me into those other things that I now enjoy reading. And I don't want to get too much into your book yet, but yes, it definitely has a lot of like Atla feel to it.
Yeah.
But Aragon, may have to give that a shot, man. I think there's a new book that even came out recently in that series, right? Mordica or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was mind blowing because he hasn't touched that thing in like 10 years. It feels like that blew my mind when that came out. I haven't read it yet.
Maybe time to turn the pages for me. I may have to get back into that.
Yeah.
Outside of writing, what hobbies do you have? What are you doing when you're not writing, or how do you guess your downtime from writing?
That's good. This can sound really dumb, but I really like climbing trees. Actually, like I've got a big backyard, and I kind of just like being a monkey and running around and climbing trees.
What's the tallest tree you've ever climbed?
I don't know, like 30 feet, 40 feet. I don't.
You climbed a 30-foot tree?
I think so. I'm not.
Do you have footage? I don't believe it. I gotta see this.
Actually, wait. This last week, I was climbing a tree, and my wife was like, "Go higher," because like she's trying to like get better at being all like whimsical and like not being scared of me doing dangerous stuff. And I was like, "I don't think I can. This branch is pretty dead." And she thought I was being self-conscious about like getting older and like my ability. She's like, "No, you can do it. Go higher." She's like, "All right, okay, I will." And so I started climbing up. The branch broke, and I fell like a straight 16 feet like out of this tree. And I'm fine. Like no broken bones. Like 16 feet easy. No broken bones. Couple scratches. Like I'm fine.
Miracle child.
Yeah.
Do you have life insurance? Did your wife recently get life insurance on you? I feel like that may like climb that tree. And then you fell 16 feet and nothing happened, so it's just like whatever.
Next time.
So like nature, do you enjoy being out in nature? Is that what you're saying?
Like being out in nature, yeah.
Or specifically just trees? Like I don't want a river. I just want a tree to climb.
I like rivers. I like nature. Yeah, that's a good answer. I'm gonna switch my answer to that. I like nature. Yeah.
Nature. Okay. We're still gonna leave the other part in.
Yeah.
So
I also really like ultimate frisbee. I played ultimate frisbee for college until they found out that I didn't go to college and kicked me out.
Yeah. That'll do it. That'll do it.
Man.
Were you good?
I was alright. I was better at pickup. College changes the game. There's just so much more like routine and structure. I was like, this isn't fun. This is a dumb sport to have fun with. Like I don't know.
I feel that. That makes sense to me. Back into the vein of being a writer, how would you say, from the 11-year-old boy that had a vision, how have you grown as a writer today? You mentioned it's grown up with you. What are some things you changed?
That's great. Definitely changed. Like, okay, when I first started, like it really, like all the different vu or like the magic in the book really was just like fire, earth, water, air. Like that was the magic. And then like a couple of years into like pursuing that, I was like, that's a little too close to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I need to change this up. So that was huge. I've also just like gotten better as a writer, like because you just like keep writing. So I have this idea that I am gonna pursue. Like I actually really like this idea. Since I've been writing this book for like 11 years, I really want to compile like every draft of Illyadra like ever, and then like make it like a little scrollable thing so you can see like not every change that's been made, but like just like you can see like what it looked like when I was 11, and like you can scroll through to like right before I hired like a professional editor to hack at it,
Yeah. How many pages do you think you have of edited work? Or would you say the book is larger, obviously, than what it is now? And then what have you cut it down from, do you think, over the years?
I think it's probably larger now. I think a lot of writers like write too much and then edit down. But I find that like I kind of write fast, and then when I come back and edit, I have to like add in like, what does that smell like? What does that look like? What does it feel like? Like I have to edit in all of those like sensory details to like ground the story. Which took me forever to learn how to do. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What would you say some of your? So we know that like Avatar obviously was a major player in coming up with the story. What are some other elements that you had that helped you build your story now? Because when I read that, you mentioned in your, if you read kind of the description of the book, you mentioned a few things, but I feel like it was almost a very small part. I could see the elements, no pun intended, from Avatar in there, but you had a lot of other good stuff that was in there, like tribal affiliations and the way the governments work. So where did you get that from?
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really just daydreaming. I freaking love daydreaming so much. Aragon was huge. Scott Lynch's Gentleman Bastard series was so good. Oh my gosh, incredible. I'm actually still reading like the second book right now, but that first book was like so good.
It only gets better. I can tell you that.
Does it really?
Yes.
I'm so excited, holy cow. Brandon's I started reading Mistborn. Honestly, I didn't really care for it. Like I loved the world building. It just like I don't know, it wasn't my cup of tea for some reason, but I watched his BYU lectures on like writing and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're so good. Like he gets so into like the nuts and bolts of like how to portray stuff. So that's been, like,
and so you've taken some of like his style. Do you have other authors that have prompted some of their like I know Stephen King does it very differently, obviously from Brandon Sanderson and then Tolkien with his magic system. So where did you pull most of yours from, you think?
I kind of think that I made most of it up. I did pull a lot from like different places, but like the governments and all that, I really just like I've traveled a lot. My grandma's a total gypsy, doesn't like living in a certain place, so like she'd always take me on these crazy adventures. And then I think like just like making those types of like observations, like this culture says this thing is good and these things are bad, and this other culture says the opposite, like those things are bad and these things are good. And I wanted to like really write at that dichotomy of like cultures and like value systems and stuff. Yeah.
That's great. Well, let's start talking about the book now, man. Let's just get into it. I want to know some things specifically that you like. We already know that you started writing it. My next question was when. I want to know, like, what was the thought you had when you were 11? If you can remember back then, that prompted it. I do. I was watching a Fable 3 commercial. Did you ever play the Fable series? Yeah.
And I misunderstood what the commercial said. It was like, it had like all these people chasing after the crown, like a physical crown. And like, it implied that like, if you held the crown, then you're the king. And I was like, that's so cool. And then I played the game. I don't know what that's about. Like, that's just not true. Like, I totally misunderstood that. And I was like, wait, I'm gonna do that then. Like, I'm gonna do like, if you've got magic, or Vu is what I call it in the book, is like, if you've got Vu, whoever the strongest is at it, they get the crown. And then like, then they're even more powerful. Like, they have total like dominion and control over their country and their magic system. And like, that all came from like, I misinterpreted a commercial.
What a great misunderstanding though, right?
Yeah.
Vu is one of the questions I have, but I'm going to wait because I'm going to say that's one of the tasty treats I have. Specifically, I want to know about.
Ooh, tasty treats. Reese's Pieces.
I want to know about writer's block. And you've been writing since you were 11. Well, there were times you maybe were frustrated or lost. How did you overcome those times?
Yeah, I get writer's block all the time, honestly. Especially in the first like 5, 6, 7 years. I thought that like having the idea and daydreaming was like the hard part, and then I found out that like it's actually kind of easy. But writing it and like portraying it is like by far the harder part. And so I get writer's block all the time. Like I start writing and then I'm like 2 pages in, I'm like, or like maybe like 5 minutes in, I'm like, am I really any good at this? Should I just check my email and call it a day? Like even today, like I was preoccupied with making reels and like TikTok stuff to try to sell my last one, and I was like, no, I need to sit down and I need to put my hands on the keyboard and try to write the next one, which is just so important. Like writer's block, number 1, go for a car ride, get distraction free, like get dreamsy about it, and then number 2, like sit down and have the self-discipline to like just slam the keyboard.
I like just slam the keyboard. I feel like that's a pretty good mantra to hold on to.
That's great. Yeah.
Will you give the listeners sort of just a synopsis, if you will? I mean, you could even, if you wanted to pull up that thing, but give a synopsis of what you as the author would say, here's kind of what my book is about.
Yeah. That's so hard. I'll probably end up, I'm gonna take a stab at it, but I'll probably just end up having to like read the thing. I'd say so like, yeah, it's like super social hierarchy based magic system. So like, if you're more powerful with a certain country's magic, then you're like better, like very viscerally social hierarchy based, like you're better. And then our protagonist country, Renovia, they lost their magic, like they don't have any vu at all. And they're tribal for it, like they're like actually technologically primitive because they don't have magic. Here's a good example. A lot of fantasy writers write magic as like a fleeting resource, like Tolkien. And I love that. I love how they write magic as a fleeting resource, because like every page you turn is like a stab in your gut. Like that's like it's like you're killing your childhood self where magic used to be prevalent, because like magic is running out. Like we're running out of it. But that's not what I wanted to do. Like that's not what I want to do at all. I wanted to write magic that's like electricity. Like it's the reason we're not barbarians. Like it's evolving, we're getting better with it, and it's like evolving our style of living and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of different types of magic, and they advance us. And they're the reason we're not animals for a bunch of different reasons, like different types of magic.
Okay, and you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. I wanted to know, can you just tell us, if you want to get into it, the different vu types, and you could just be like very general about it, and then the nations, like where they hold that style of vu, right? Because each nation has a different style that they're really good at, and it depends on if that. And make sure I get this right. Some vu is based on your genetics, right? Like you're genetically more prone to a type of vu that makes you better at it if you're from a certain nation.
That's
Love
great.
that. Your turn.
Yeah, okay, so super general, I actually stole all the magic types straight from Skyrim. So I said, Avatar The Last Airbender, can't do those ones, let's just take Skyrim's. So you got destruction magic, vu, and that's the country of Sigudai. So that's the one that you're talking about, like their genetic base. Like if your parents and like ancestral line, if they're powerful, then like you're gonna be even more powerful. Well, not like super, like it's not for sure gonna be more powerful, but like that's just like genetic base, like you're gonna be powerful. So like the most strong people, like they just like they're attracted to the other strong people. So like you come out with like stronger people. Illusion magic is from Isle of Wera, and that one is education based. So the more books you read, the more you know, the better at that magic system you are. And like primarily you use their magic to like deceive each other, like you enter each other's minds and like battle over like influence and stuff like that. But even still, that ends up being like a couple of the people of the country is like they're still in charge because like they have these libraries that they pass to their kids. Like so it's not genetic based, but like I mean it's like our world where like the rich kids still go to Harvard, like
hoarding information. I think there's like almost that feel, right? They're hoarding the information because they know if someone else gets it, they're going to be smarter. And like you said, now they become the most powerful.
That's such a good description. I'm going to take that.
I mean, I just interpreted it from the way you wrote the book to me. That's what I read.
Let's go. And then Renovia, they're the one that they lost their power, but their power used to be healing. And you'll find more out about that, maybe, sort of. And then right below them, Masochist, alteration. So they can alter like, so half of them can alter like water into gold, or like gold into stone, stuff like that. And the other half of them can alter like things on their body. Like you can make scales, or like you can change your appearance. Like for example, one of our Sigunai fighter people, destruction people, goes to a Macedonian in order to get her body like mutated to fight better. Like make my skin tougher so that like a knife won't hit me as hard, or like make my eyes clearer so I can see farther, and stuff like that, which is really cool because you can see like how the different magics like they start to intertwine and combine, which is so fun. And then one more is conjuration. We don't see a whole bunch of them in the first book, and that's very intentional. They're very mysterious. They're
very
also
cool.
They're also primitive, because like their country is just like, it's kind of a wasteland. Like, they just don't have a lot of materials to like get out of the like just primitive technology and stuff. But they can summon beasts like demons and stuff from the afterlife. And like the better you are at that, the like better your beast is. You know, like some of them just like if you're really bad at it, you maybe summon like a plant from the afterlife,
like a Venus flytrap. That's sad.
And then like if you're like really good, like you can summon like a sentient, like smart, intelligible beast that can like talk and stuff.
That's really cool. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And then they also have like a secondary sort of power where like since like they're really in tune with like the spiritual and stuff, they can sense how powerful someone is. So like if they encounter like one of the nobles from Isle of Wera, like one of the smart people, they can sense like, oh, you've got a lot of magic in you, and that's just really cool. It's like
now,
I got that from.
Did you have one of these characters in the bar, right? Because they're called because they can tell if you've got power, right? Is that the same characters, right?
Sorry, what was the question?
So some of the characters, there was one scene in a bar where I believe Ira, am I saying that right? Ira.
Ira, yeah.
I thought Hermione was Hermione forever when I was a kid because there was no TV show. Right?
Wow, that's great.
So Ira, she was careful not to. Is it if they're using magic, someone can sense if they're used it, or if they haven't? Is that the same?
It's definitely like they can sense. So if they look like if they kind of like look at you, like they can sense how much magic you have. But in that scene specifically, everyone in the room has a bunch of magic.
Okay.
So like she was trying to blend in like on purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think she got away with it. She kind of scraped by.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we kind of know what the book's about. I love the magic system that's in there.
Yeah.
How long? Tell me real quick the lifeline of this book, or this. How long from the time you're 11 years old to when this thing got published and you started putting it out in stores and selling it?
Let's go. 15 years. 15 years. 10 of those daydreaming, 4 of those writing it. No, 3. I think 4 of those writing it, and then like 1 of those really editing it and like marketing it and stuff.
And let me tell you, the cover caught our eye immediately. Like it's beautiful. And then then you send me the book, and like the way it feels, like to hold it is really good.
So good.
I don't know if a lot of people are like, I have to have a book usually. I have a ton of books. I need to get rid of them. But I like holding a book, and it has got a good heft to it. It is just a beautiful book. Yeah. So I advise getting it.
Yeah, thank you. We only have the hardcover out right now, and my brother-in-law felt it, and he was like, "Dude, this feels like an iPhone case." It
does. Yes, that's a great description.
It's great.
Cool. That's a long time, 15 years. So keep writing, people. If you're out there and you're wondering, 15 years.
15 years.
Blood, sweat, and tears, I imagine.
Dude, it's so time-consuming. I heard another author compare it like this, like sometimes I wish I was a musician, because like writing music is probably just as difficult. Like it's so hard, but like it's way shorter of a time period. Like it's just so much hard. Like you start it, you finish it so much faster. Just as difficult, funny to say. Still just as hard, but like just faster.
The struggle is real for everyone who writes, as we were saying. Yeah. Just be a musician instead.
Yeah.
Okay, and who was your favorite character in this book? I already know the answer because I was chatting with you a little bit because you'd asked me, and I think it really just being the same one. But who's your favorite?
Yeah, Weskin, hands down Weskin. There's something special about an author's favorite character. Like George R. R. Martin, I think his favorite character is Tyrion Lannister, the dwarf. And you can just, like, all of his characters are super well-rounded and likable, but, like, you can really tell that there's just a special attention on Tyrion Lannister. And, like, I love the white-haired Power Ranger character. Like, there's something different about them. They're set apart from the rest of the cast. And Weskin is beautiful. He's kind of, like, childlike. He's got a magic black staff that's pretty mysterious. You don't know what's going on with that quite yet. And he has a horrible memory, like day-long memory. Like if you're trying to like have him remember something from more than a day ago, he's got no idea. He's like Dory, but like in a fantasy setting, which is crazy. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, and I really love, because some of those, if I'm not getting to, he has like multiple personalities that are hanging out inside, and they're very funny as they like argue sometimes amongst one another. Yeah, it's very good.
I love that.
Who was the hardest character to write for?
Yeah, that's good. Probably Ira, the girl you were talking about from the Signai destructive country. She just like, she knows the most about the world building already, and she's in the most engagements with other characters that already know the world building. And I honestly, like, I refuse to do the maid and butler dialogue bit where it's like, so as you know, it's the primary trial in Sigunai is like trial by combat. Like I won't do it. Like I will not say like have a conversation where both characters are talking about something that both characters already know about. Can't do it. Refuse to.
Well, I think that's a great from you to realize that, because for us as readers, we want to take away those hints. We want to learn that as we go.
Yeah.
So thank you for not doing that. As we all know.
As we all know. Yeah.
And your favorite scene in the book, what is your favorite scene?
I think probably Aiden. And so he's from the smart people country where everyone's using like illusion magic to like deceive people and stuff. And he finds himself as like a captive or like a slave, as like kind of like a servant basically, but he's not getting paid. For like one of the really smart people, like one of the nobles. And my favorite scene is when he finally breaks out. Yeah, I'm only
it's at the very end, right? And at the very end, like I was shocked.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So, my favorite parts of. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, there's like that 3 or 4 chapter range right around that same area where like really sort of suddenly everything in the book is clicking, like, and like the whole setup in the whole book is coming together out of nowhere, and it's crazy. Like I just love that whole area of the book, and I love that moment especially.
My favorite chapters, it was almost like, because Aiden is almost just completely separate. You're like, where's he even going with this? But what reels me in is that whole thing where he can go into the mind, because he's a stuttering character. So like the character flaw for him is people think from the outside he's a dumb character, he's worth nothing, but he's got a brilliant mind.
Brilliant,
And someone in the town who's, has a lot of that magic recognizes this. And the battles that you set up in there for, like, if you tell a lie, it, like, knocks them down a notch or they lose. That was brilliant. I don't know where you got that from. Don't tell me. I want to believe you just have that of your own mind.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. It was so fun to write, actually. Thank you.
It reminded me a little bit of the chess scene in Kingdom Hearts. Like the Kingdom Hearts 2, where they're like playing chess and you're like the characters that they're supposed to represent you as the character. Some people know what I'm talking about. Kingdom Hearts 2. You can look it up. It's like the opening scene.
Okay.
Do it right now. We're gonna stop. I'm gonna get your live reaction. If you could redo something in this book that you have now, what would that be?
Probably introduce I think I have 2 things. I'd probably introduce Weskin a little bit earlier, because he right now he's in the middle of the book. Like you're fully set up with the cast. You're getting into it. Like, all right, I get what's going on now, and I know my peoples. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of a book, we get this new character, Weskin, and it's different. It's different after that. And he brings a lot to the table, and I love what he brings. And I wish he would bring it just a little bit sooner, but I couldn't figure out a way to make that happen. And then I think I'd have the characters give a little bit more of that exposition, like we were saying earlier. I think I set up the world building really, really well. But I do wish I would have them like describe what's going on a little bit better. But also, I'm not really sold. Like, I think a lot of authors, like, you write a book and then like it's finished. But well, there's gonna be more prints, so I'm gonna fix like typos and stuff like that.
Okay, I read for content, man. I don't ever notice typos. I'm just not that kind of guy. But I'm sure there's people out there just circling away somewhere, highlighting.
There's not like a bunch of them, but like you see one as a writer specifically, you see one that's like, pull this knife out of my chest, like 15 years right here.
Hey man, you're doing really good to have this beautiful book out. It doesn't matter what's in there. Like you did a thing. There's an obstacle you've overcome that a lot of people don't. So
dude,
don't worry
thank you
about
so
it.
much. I love that. Yeah.
How do you deal with, and you probably don't have many right now, but negative reviews, or if you've heard people who like have been ripping you for the book at all, and how do you respond to that?
Not yet, really. Everyone that's read it has really loved it. I think I've gotten one 3-star review, and that's like as low as I've gotten so far. And that one, like, I spent the whole day like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, this is my whole life here. So, not great yet, but I think I'll get better at it. Like I said, like, I'm gonna do this till I die. Like, even if I get more, like, I'm gonna write the rest of this series, like, for sure. Like, there's nothing that's gonna change that. So.
Yeah, and that leads me to, how many books do you plan to have? Like, where does it end? How many books do you see it having? Because this is your epic, right? This is your big...
Yeah, it's my epic. Yeah, 6. I've got 6 planned out to the T. To the T. Like, I've got... Yeah, they're so integrated. One of the things that I was actually really writing the series on is a rereadability axis. And that sounds crazy. Like, it's hard to get people to read a book one time. But I really just love, like, when you can watch a movie for the second time or a third time and, like, you just pick up on more stuff, and the way that, like, it doubles back on itself even. That's what I'm going for this series as a whole.
I think I feel that. So one of the things I talked to you about, I was like, hey man, there's a lot of, lore that's dumped in here, and I wish there was a glossary for it. That's like my only real critique.
Yeah,
but I think what you're saying is, hey man, you just wait. Like,
yeah.
And I don't mind getting immersed, because I know there's several authors who do that, right? They'll throw in a lot of lore, and you're just not really sure yet, but it always ties back in, and yours does that. It comes back full circle. You just got to hang in there and say, I know that it's going to come back, and now context clues tell me exactly what this is, why it's important.
So that's huge. Thank you. That's absolutely huge. So the first book does that. For each book, I want it to be written on that rereadable axis, and then as a whole, like even the second book, like all those like role building points that like come back and make sense at the end of the book are gonna even like re-deepen and like redouble as the next book progresses. And I'm so excited for everybody to get caught up to where I am.
What are you working on right now? Like, are you working book 2, or have you finished that and it's kind of going through a review?
I'm into book 2 right now. I gotta be honest, this is gonna kill me. It's gonna kill my audience here, but I am a slow writer. I'm
How
working
dare
through
you?
it. I know. People absolutely crucify Scott Lynch, George R.R. Martin for being. I'm not that slow, but like, they're putting so much more effort into like. I don't want to like name drop like books that are coming out now, but there's like a whole fast fashion thing to books where it's like you slam your hands on the keyboard, and instead of like coming back to it, they publish it, and that's it. But like slow writers like Scott Lynch and George R.R. Martin are spending so much effort and like thought and like energy into every book. Like, it makes sense that it takes them years to write one book, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it's a better quality product for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So book 2, what percentage would you say you're at?
I can't.
Give me a number.
I don't know.
You know what? I expect a weekly
It's
update from now on, like just a status bar.
I'll just send you each chapter as it comes out.
Done. Cool, man. So that's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up about Illyadra? Oh, also, I wanted to mention the map first. Let me talk about the map. You sent me a map.
So good.
I'm a sucker for maps. People know that. I like drawing them.
Love them.
So very, very good map. And one thing because when you open up a fantasy book, typically you see the map in the front. A good thing that I think is good to point out to the fans is you wanted the map because you have one. You have 2 of them, really, like there's like a city style, and then there's like the whole world, essentially. Yeah. And you introduce those organically, like when a character finds the map. Yep. Now we as the readers get to see the map at the same time.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before, unless it's like a kid's book maybe, but like I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before, and it's just so fun. Like you're reading a fantasy book and you see a map isn't in the map location, so you think like, oh, all right, it's gonna be like a Joe Abercrombie like First Law trilogy, like there's no map, and then all of a sudden you get to it and it's like, what the heck? Like it's just an extra level of payoff that's so fun.
Yeah, I was reading and I was like, oh man, he's talking about places and I don't see it. And I noticed it was sitting on my shelf and I noticed like a thin black line at one point from a distance and I was like, what is that? And there's the map. I was so excited to have that.
That's so funny. So did you turn to it like early?
Oh yeah, and I kept referencing it and I would just study it, but I'm just a map lover and I want to know, because I want to track like where they're walking from and to and how these are associated, and I did that for a long time. So thank you for the map, for sending that to me. I'm going to hang that up in my office very soon, actually. So when people ask.
Let's go. I have both of them hung up in my office too. Yeah, they're great. And then one other thing that I did definitely want to mention that I forgot about up until now, actually, I'm having a Goodreads giveaway for the entire month of March. So like, and I'm giving away like 100 books. So if you go to Goodreads.com and search up Illyadra, like, I'm still pretty early on in my audience building journey. And I'm giving away like 100 of them, so if you sign up, like you're gonna get one probably.
I'll definitely put that in the show notes. So Goodreads.com, and we're gonna search for Illyadra. This episode should be out on March 8th. I'll push even harder if Jins. He loves us. He does this real good. So I'll see if I can't get it out sooner just to help accommodate. But otherwise, this will be out March 8th. Giving away 100 books.
I'm not age rushed, but yeah, I appreciate that.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Now, is that inside U.S. or are you shipping overseas too? We have a few in Australia, UK, that kind of thing. So.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just U.S. Actually, this Goodreads kind of handles it. I ship the books out, but like I kind of just follow whatever Goodreads tells me to do. So I'm not super sure. Probably U.S. only, I think. I don't know.
If you're one of our Australian listeners or UK, just try it. See if it kicks you out.
See what happens.
And then send Lawful Stupid an angry email. We'll forward that to our lawyers, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate the interview. If you have, honestly, tell me where your socials are. We know Goodreads, but where else can we find you?
Yep. I got a website, adrielhousepublishing.com, that I check up on every now and then. Post a blog. I love posting blogs. I also have an Instagram account, Adriel House Publishing, and then another Instagram account that I kind of spam, like post memes and stuff. Adriel Imagines. I think I'm gonna change that eventually. Kind of soft for me, but I'm working on it. Adriel Imagines. Yeah.
Is that your 11-year-old self? Is that from that's what you created when you were 11?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
That's cool, man. And we'll make sure to get all of these, so don't worry about it. If you missed it, we're going to put all these in the show notes, so you'll be able to just go click onto these.
That's great.
And you've also got a Discord. I don't know if you care to tell people that, or is that a hush-hush right now?
Great idea. No, I love that. I forgot. Yeah, Adriel House Publishing Discord, yeah. I answer almost any question there, unless you're asking for like spoilers, that I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, I hang out there a lot, play video games, love hanging out. Yeah.
Oh, what do you play? Fans want to know.
Ooh, right now I always get tempted by Minecraft, but then it's just like, it just takes so long to do anything that I kind of give up quickly. I like Apex, Rocket League, anything where I can run around and jump and shoot a bunch. It's like Valorant, not my deal. You gotta stop moving to start shooting. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Can't handle it.
Gotta be on the move.
Gotta be on the move.
Gotta be on the move. I love that. All right, man. Well, Adriel, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Devin. This is great.
Yeah, you're the first. You're the best guest we've had.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
Am
I the only guest?
No, so far. This was a great experiment. Yeah. So everyone, Illyadra, I'll have links there. Hopefully, we'll maybe make this like a thumbnail. I'll figure that out. That's not my job. Somebody else is much smarter than me, probably Dwayne or Shane. And hopefully this drops an 8th. But I thank you guys for listening. Adriel, thanks for being on here. And we hope to support you when book 2 comes out.
Yeah, let's go.